Hey guys, welcome back to Elevate a Soul. Today we are continuing with the part 3 of the chapter The Structure of the Universe, Canto 5. Due east of Mount Meru, an abode of Indra known as Devadhani is located upon Mount Manasottara. Similarly, the abode of Yamaraja called Samyamani is located due south. The abode of Varuna named Nimlochani is due west, and the abode of Soma called Vibhavari is due north. Sunrise, midday, sunset, and midnight occur at these four places, whereas those who reside on Sumeru mountain find that the sun is always overhead. People who live in countries diametrically opposite to where the sun is seen rising in the morning will see the sun setting. The chariot of the sun god has only one wheel, which is known as Samvatsara. The axle that supports the wheel has one end resting upon the summit of Mount Sumeru and the other end upon Mount Manasottara. Since the wheel is affixed to the outer end of the axle, it continuously rotates on Manasottara mountain like the wheel of an oil pressing machine. Similarly, as in such a machine, the axle is attached to a second one that is 1/4 as long, and the upper end of the second axle is attached to Dhruvaloka by means of a rope of wind. The 12 months are considered the 12 spokes of this wheel. The 6 regions are the 6 sections of its rim, and the 3 Chaturmasya periods are its 3-sectioned hub. The carriage of the sun god's chariot is estimated to be 3,600,000 yojanas long and 1/4 as wide. The horses, which are named after Gayatri and other Vedic meters, are harnessed by Arunadeva to a yoke 900,000 yojanas wide. Although Aruna sits in front of the sun god while controlling the horses, he continuously looks backward from his left side toward his master. There are 60,000 thumb-sized sages named Valikilyas who are also situated in front of the sun god, and they offer him eloquent prayers in glorification. The moon is 100,000 yojanas above the sun, and because it travels much faster, in 2 lunar fortnights it passes through 1 samvatsara of the sun, which is 1 year. Many of the stars, including 28 very important ones headed by Abhijit, are situated 200,000 yojanas above the moon. They are fixed to the wheel of time and rotate around Mount Sumeru, keeping it to their right. Venus is 200,000 yojanas above the stars and moves with 3 speeds almost exactly like the sun. Sometimes Venus moves ahead of the sun, sometimes behind the sun, and sometimes along with it. Its presence is considered very auspicious and is the cause of rainfall. Mercury, which is the son of the moon, is 200,000 yojanas above Venus and moves in a similar way. It is usually considered to be very auspicious, but when it does not move along with the sun, it may create fearful conditions resulting in natural disasters. Mars is 200,000 yojanas above Mercury and almost always creates unfavorable conditions. Jupiter is 200,000 yojanas above Mars, and when its movement is not curved, it is considered very favorable for Brahmanas. Saturn is 200,000 yojanas above Jupiter and is always very inauspicious. 1,100,000 yojanas above Saturn are the Saptarishis, who are always thinking of the well-being of the inhabitants of the universe. 1,300,000 yojanas above the Saptarishis is Dhruva-loka, the abode of Lord Vishnu. This polar star is the central pivot for all the stars and planets which are forced to circumambulate it by the most powerful time factor. As bulls are yoked together and tied to a central pivot to thresh rice, one closest to the central post, one in the middle, and one on the outside, so all the planets and stars are fastened to the machine of material nature and driven around the pole star by the wind. These planets float in the air just as very heavy clouds float in the sky, and Sienna eagles fly high into space without a chance of falling to the ground. Being servants of the Supreme Personality of Godhead, these planets and stars sit in their chariots and travel in their respective orbits under his order. This great mechanism, comprising all the stars, planets, and their orbits, resembles the form of a Shishumara, which is a dolphin, within the water, and this imaginary form is sometimes meditated upon by yogis as the Lord's Virat Rupa. This Shishumara has its head downward and its body coiled. Dhruva-loka is situated upon the end of its tail, and on the body of its tail are the planets of the demigods like Indra and Agni. At the base of the tail are the planets of Dhata and Vidhata. The Saptarishis are situated on the hips, and numerous stars occupy the main trunk of the body. The Ganga that flows in the sky and is known as the Milky Way is situated on the abdomen of the Shishumara. Yamraja is situated on its lower chin, Mars upon its mouth, and Saturn upon its genitals. On the back of its neck is Jupiter, and on its chest is the Sun. The moon is within its mind, Venus is on its navel, and the Ashwini Kumaras are upon its chest. Mercury is within the Shishumara's life air, Rahu is on its neck, Lord Narayana is within the core of its heart, and innumerable stars are the pores of its body. Thus, the Shishumara Chakra is the resting place of all the demigods, stars, and planets. 10 million yojanas above Dhruva-loka is Mahar-loka, and 20 million yojanas above Mahar-loka is Jana-loka. 80 million yojanas above Jana-loka is Tapo-loka, and 120 million yojanas above Tapo-loka is Satya-loka. The local Vaikuntha planet of Lord Vishnu is 26,200,000 yojanas above Satya-loka and the coverings of the universe begin from just above this point. 10,000 yojanas below the sun is Rahu, the son of Simhika. The sun globe extends for 10,000 yojanas. The moon is twice as large and Rahu is 30,000 yojanas across. What is known as an eclipse is the attack of Rahu during the dark moon day or full moon night. After hearing from the sun and moon about Rahu's attack, the Supreme Personality of Godhead, Lord Vishnu, sends his Sudarshana Chakra to protect them. The intense heat caused by that effulgent disk is unbearable for Rahu and thus he immediately flees out of fear. 10,000 yojanas below Rahu are Siddhaloka, Charanaloka and Vidyadharaloka. Beneath these planets, 100 yojanas above the earth, in the Antariksha are the abodes of the Yakshas, Rakshasas, Pishachas and other such beings. Antariksha extends for as far as the wind blows and clouds float in the sky. Above that there is no more air. Below the earth are 7 planetary systems called Atala, Vitala, Sutala, Talatala, Mahatala, Rasatala and Patala, which all have the same diameter as the Bhumandala planetary system. The first Vitala is located 10,000 yojanas below the earth and the last Patala is 70,000 yojanas below the earth. 30,000 yojanas below Patal is Sheshanaga lying upon the Garbhodoka ocean, which is 249,800,000 yojanas deep. The 7 lower planetary systems are called Bilaswarga, which is subterranean heaven, for the opulence that is enjoyed there by the demons exceeds even that which is found in the higher planets. Although the sense enjoyment of the demigods is sometimes disturbed, the Daityas, Danavas and Nagas enjoy in their very beautiful houses and gardens without disturbance, and thus they become very attached to such illusory happiness. In this imitation heavens, Mayadanava has built many brilliantly decorated cities within which the houses of the planetary leaders are constructed by using the most valuable jewels. The beauty of the gardens there excels those in the heavenly planets and can make the mind of anyone blossom with the pleasure of sense gratification. Many great serpents reside in these regions, and the effulgence from the jewels upon their hoods dissipates the darkness due to the absence of sunshine. Because the sun does not penetrate, there is no division of day and night in these subterranean regions, and thus the residents have no fear of time's influence. Since the inhabitants of these planets drink and bath in elixirs made from wonderful herbs, they are freed from diseases and anxieties. They have no grey hair or wrinkled skin, and their bodies do not fade in luster or become invalid. Perspiration does not cause a bad odor, and they are never troubled by fatigue or lack of energy and enthusiasm, even in old age. The only fear of the inhabitants in these regions is from death's established time, which is the effulgence of the Sudarshana Chakra. When the Sudarshana Chakra enters these regions, the pregnant wives of the demons suffer miscarriages due to fear. In Atala, the son of Mayadanava, named Bala, created 96 varieties of mystic power that so-called swamis and yogis take advantage even today to cheat the people. Bala also created 3 kinds of women from his yawning: Swarini, who marry men from their own group; Kamini, who marry from any group; and Pumshali, who change husbands one after another. When a man enters Atala, these women capture him and induce him to drink an intoxicating beverage that endows him with great sexual prowess. The women that induce him to enjoy sex with them by enchanting him with attractive glances, intimate words, smiles of love, and embraces. In this way, the women take advantage of the man's increased sexual prowess and enjoy their own lusty desires to their full capacity. By dint of his sexual strength, the man also becomes highly illusioned, thinking himself to be more powerful than 10,000 elephants and as good as God, and thus he ignores impending death. Below Atala is Vitala, where Lord Shiva lives along with his ghostly associates. There Lord Shiva is engaged in sex with his wife Bhavani so that he can produce living entities, and from the mixture of their vital fluids the river Hartaki is formed. When fire fed by the wind brings that river and then, while sizzling, spits it out, the gold called Hartaka is produced. The demons living on Vitala decorate themselves with ornaments made from this gold, and thus they live very happily. Below Vitala is Sutala, where Bali Maharaja resides even now, and the Supreme Personality of Godhead mercifully stands at his door with club in hand. When Ravana once came to challenge Bali Maharaja, Lord Vamana Deva kicked him in a distance of 10,000 yojanas with his big toe. Beneath Sutala is Talatala, which is ruled over by Maya Danava, the Acharya for all those who can invoke mystic powers. After destroying Tripura, Lord Shiva once again became pleased with Maya Danava and returned his kingdom, and has also been protecting him ever since. For this reason, Maya Danava falsely thinks that he need not fear the Sudarshana Chakra of the Supreme Lord. Below Talatala is Mahatala, the abode of many serpent descendants of Kadru, such as Takshaka and Kaliya. These snakes live in constant fear of Garuda, but still they try their best to enjoy life along with their family members. Beneath Mahatala is Rasatala, the abode of the demoniac sons of Diti and Danu, who reside in snake holes. These include the Nivata Kavachas. Beneath Rasatala is Patala, which is also called Nagaloka and is presided over by Vasuki. Some of these serpents have 5 hoods, some 7, some 10, and others as many as 1,000. The light emanating from the jewels that bedeck the heads of these Nagas illuminates the entire Bilaswarga planetary system. With this, we'll continue in the next video. Radhe Radhe.